Hey guys, DJ here at Top 10 Cards and Games, and today I'm going to talk about Shaddoll for the July 2015. Holy crap. I know my years real well. I'm smart, or something. For the July 2015 format, Shaddolls are about a year old now. The deck still has all the tools to compete, though. It's got some very strong plays, some very explosive plays, and an engine that really doesn't stop going. Let's just get into the list. First, we have 3 effect Veilers. Veiler is basically a staple in the deck at 3 because it's a light monster to make Construct, and it provides a useful effect negation to keep yourself safe from things like Trishula or shut off your opponent's searches or something to that effect. Next, we have 3 Mathematician, which is another near staple in the deck. Mathematician gets your engine going by dumping Shaddoll monsters. It can also dump a couple utility cards that we have to play with it. And it's an Earth to make Shek. For our utility cards, we have Parapero and Felice. These cards are kind of your answers to just different things. Parapero is going to clear out whatever floodgate. You can also just dump it to float it in your graveyard if your plan is to make a Shek with your Mathematician. But it's going to deal with basically whatever floodgate, monster flood, or spell or trap flood. Felice is going to just help you clear out back rows by making Black Rose or Arcanite Magician, or you can make Ancient Sacred Wyvern if your opponent has either paid enough times with towers or with scout, or played enough upstarts that you're higher than them to deal with their towers through Ancient Sacred Wyvern. Next, we have 1 Thunder King Ryo as our last sort of non-engine standalone normal summon. Thunder King is very, very strong against Necros, and I think it's worth playing in the deck. It's a light monster. It's like playing an extra copy of Mistake that's a little bit less cloggy than just drawing more copies of Mistake. And it's really all there is to Thunder King. He's just a very strong card. Then BLS. BLS is broken. Next for our Shaddoll monsters, we have 3 Squamatas. Squamata is here at 3 because it's the one you want. Well, not necessarily the one you want to have, but it's whatever Shaddoll you want to have when you have it in your hand with a fusion. You dump it with your fusion spell, then dump whichever card you actually wanted, and it just gets you to whatever effect you need. Then we have 3 Falco. I don't like 3 Falco. I think it's a necessity right now, but I would really rather this be either a second Hedgehog or a third Beast. But the reason the 3 Falcos are in here are, the only reason really, there's really just one, is to make Star Eater more consistently, so we have another way to deal with towers. Outside of that, Falco is great for grinding, great when you're already set up, but in general I would prefer it to be another Beast to dig me deeper into my deck, or another Hedgehog to help find my engine pieces. We have 2 Shaddoll Beasts. Beast is just great, draws you cards. Drawing cards is always good. Then 1 Hedgehog and 1 Dragon. The number of these are low because Hedgehog doesn't interact super favorably when you're playing Mistake in your deck, though I would not mind playing a second one because it's the card that lets you keep going and keep playing when you're activating fusion spells and dumping Shaddoll monsters, since you just search out another Shaddoll to play your second fusion. Dragon is a one-of because there's so many decks in the game that don't really focus on back rows and so many back rows that you don't care about, that it's safe enough to just play one and then just recur it with Falcos as much as you need it to keep popping back rows. Moving into our spells, we have 3 Upstart Goblins. I don't see a lot of lists playing these, which I assume is because it makes it much harder to kill your opponent with El Shaddoll Fusion. But I think it's just too good. You really want to find your fusion spells in this deck. This deck struggles if you don't find a fusion, which for that reason alone we're playing 6 fusions, 3 El Shaddoll and 3 regular Shaddoll. They're just both insanely good cards. You could consider maybe cutting an El Shaddoll for a Nef Shaddoll fusion, so you can play more fusions in one turn, plus have better access to a Nautilus. But I like those fusions a lot when Burning Abyss is such a big part of the meta. So then we have 1 Regeki and 1 Book of Moon to help deal with cards like Diamond and just boards in general. Book's actually really versatile in this deck, being able to flip down your Shaddoll monsters. Then we have Soul Charge. Soul Charge is awkward in this deck because we don't use any Exceeds in our extra, but it gives you so much fusion food and so many synchro plays that I think it's worth the slot. Moving into our traps, we have 2 copies of Mistake, 2 copies of Sinister Shadow Games, 3 gets pretty cloggy, 1 copy of Shaddoll Core, 1 copy of Breakthrough Skill, and 1 copy of Torrential. These are both ways to deal with cards like Diamond again. I like Torrent a little bit more than the second Breakthrough, even though Breakthrough's got multiple uses. Torrential is just such a strong card at the time being. And then Vanity's Emptiness. So, not 3 mistakes because they get too cloggy. That's the reason I'm playing the Thunder King instead of 3 mistakes. Drawing a bunch of mistakes, especially game 1, is just awkward. Because realistically, you're probably just playing without all the cards, and that's just going to make it hard, or without like more live cards, which is just going to make it harder to deal with your opponent's plays if they can summon something. Like I said, Torrent over the second breakthrough scale. I think that's only the only thing to really talk about with the traps. Moving into the extra deck, we have 3 Construct. Construct is just a staple in this deck. It's 3. It's just got the most power. It lets you make a body that does more than something like a Winda does, but still get 2 Shaddoll effects. Then we have 2 Windas. Winda is great in some matchups, great in some board states, but it's not a 3-of. Then we have 2 Shecky Nagas. Shek is also really good, not great in every board state, and a little bit harder to make. And 2 Anointilus. This is the reason that this deck is still super playable, I think. If you just had to deal with like using triple Shek as your way to try to slow down Necros, I don't think this deck would be as good. But being able to summon Anointilus with Core gives you so much power, so much ability to lock them out of the game that it's really, really good. Then we have Star Eater, which is easy to make with Falco, and it's your best way to deal with towers. Leo is an incredibly good card in the deck just to get your Construct off the board, get your fusion back in your hand without risking it being removed. We have Trishula. You can make Trish with like Winda and Math and just different things. I don't know. I guess there's not a real good line there. Winda, Math. No, there's not even a glow up bulb in this deck. If you played Bulb, you can make it that way. But you can make it with Falco's Beast, those sort of things. Maybe I'm crazy and there's no way to make this. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Level 4, level 3, level 2. Oh, jeez. It was harder than I thought it would be. But Trish is just too good to not play. Maybe the right answer is to play a copy of Glow Up Bulb in here with your Mathematician. But I'm basically just going to jam it in my deck. We also have Effect Veiler to make it with 2 4s off Soul Charge. I'm probably being greedy, but it's a water monster to make Anointilus with, and it's just sweet. Then we have Black Rose, Arcanite, and Ancient Sacred Wyvern for 7s. 7 is the easiest number to make in this deck since Falco plus Beast makes it, as well as Math plus Felice. And these cards just have a ton of utility. Clearing your opponent's back rows, bopping 2 cards in your opponent's field, and then fusing into a Construct, or running over towers. They just do everything you need them to do. There is no 6 in here, which I guess if we cut Trish, we could just put like a Goyo Guardian or an HDS Behemoth in. But I'm optimistic about Trish, and I would probably add Glow Up Bulb to my deck to make Trish better before I would cut Trish. None of that's necessarily correct, but I like playing with broken cards. Trish is definitely a broken card. I'll give up eventually, but for right now I'm still having a hoot trying to play it and everything. I'll probably end up making Mermails just so I can make 1 card Trish's of Diva, which is hilariously awesome, though. I mean, if those attacks connected, probably not super relevant, but whatever. It's cool. Don't care. But, I mean, that's about it, really. I don't think Star Seraphs are the right way to play this deck because they're just so clunky and awkward. Plus, Star Seraph boards, as being, like, the Necros player playing against Star Seraph dolls, the Star Seraph variant, their plays never felt truly threatening. And I think Shaddoll Fusion alone is already threatening enough against Burning Abyss. You don't have to worry about it. And the Klee matchup game 1 is just awful no matter what you do, so I'm just ignoring it. So that's really all there is to it, though. I think this deck is still really good. I think that I think a lot of the reason you don't see a ton of evolution in this deck is that, like last format, a lot of the top players really just stuck to Necros and then kind of branched into Burning Abyss. But no one like who was extremely good really stuck with Shaddolls for a lot of the formats, so the deck didn't really get to evolve that much. I think that this deck has a much higher ceiling than people have hit with it yet. I think there's a lot of room to experiment and kind of grow the deck. Not to say that the deck's not already good or anything, but I just think there's a lot of room for improvement that people haven't really explored. Personally, I'm not going to play test it a ton. I like the deck. I like the cards. The thing I'm most interested in doing with the Shaddoll engine, and the reason I picked the cards up in the first place, is testing Shaddoll Necros, which will be the next deck profile I post. And I think that deck has a lot of promise, though it's not insane. But you can expect that to be up next week, as well as plenty of other new format Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. In the meantime, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you'll be kept up to date whenever we post something new, and you can see all the different decks and gameplay and whatnot, and maybe some like theory videos that I decided to do throughout this format. So in the meantime, thanks for watching, guys, and have a good one.